from Webster County on east and down into Ozark County. So we've got a pretty wide stretch over to there. So hopefully they'll get those others linked to where we'll be able to all link in together.
Awesome. 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 Okay. And once again, I do apologize for any of our technical errors today. I'm having Win 10 issues that are awfully frustrating. And Franklin, what is the state of the 14664 repeater? Are you on that for Greene County or are you still using the 91?
Well, I think what we have decided in consultation with Steve, the repeater trustee, which you may know a little bit, um, we are going to use the 6.4 for the Skywarn activation that we're anticipating this afternoon. He's talked to James Atkins, who is I believe, the repeater trustee at the site where the repeater is located there at the State Highway Patrol. And it seems that the issue that we were having has been corrected. It's not doing it now. Kind of, if you're not familiar, here about, I believe it was about a year ago, may have been a year and a half ago, they replaced a lot of the feed line and antennas on that tower, and our repeater was included in that. And apparently the company that they contracted out to do that, they used some kind of a tape type sealant that just didn't seal very well and got some water in the feed line, and that was causing wonky SWRs. The repeater's designed, whenever it detects that, it cuts the power back to prevent from doing damage to itself. So whenever that happens, you get kind of a double beep at the end of each transmission. And so that's what first brought to our attention that something was going on. Steve and James went up there, found out that it was that issue, not something else that they thought was going to be a simple fix. They did go back up and fix that and put better weather sealing on it. But apparently, some water was somewhere else in the system and may have migrated back into the feed line because a couple days later it was doing the same thing again. I believe James and some of the people from the State Highway Patrol have since then looked at that, or it self-corrected itself. Um, Steve had talked to James. They both are in agreement that they think that it's operating normally now. So we decided we're going to use it for that activation, and we're kind of not going to open it back up to normal traffic in general until probably tomorrow. But we are planning on using it for the Skywarn this evening, and there may be a possibility that the Wellness Net will still be held over onto the 9.1 for tonight if we go ahead and do that. That way, the 6.4 can be cleared for Skywarn, and then we'll probably go back tomorrow as long as everything works well tonight with the Wellness Net on the 6.4.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Now, are you going to continue to do the wellness net tonight in the event that the severe weather is ongoing at that time?
I've talked to that Steve about that, and I think we're just going to kind of play it by ear for right now. Being that we do have both repeaters functional, we can definitely do that. Have the Skywarn net on the 6.4 and continue to do the wellness net on the 9.1. That also kind of depends on whether or not we're going to be live streaming tonight on Jungle Chasers. We may possibly live stream before that, maybe take a break in the middle of that so that Steve can do the wellness net, and then when Steve gets done with the wellness net, come back to live streaming. Or if it's being pretty significant, and I mean it's like severe, which of course anytime we have severe weather, people could be at risk. But I mean, if we're looking like this is really going to be super severe. Damage is going to happen. People are probably going to be hurt by this. We may just make the call at the last minute, just, we need to stick with this and not do the wellness net. We can pick it up afterwards.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So, because of our computer glitches of earlier, um, just a brief recap. Um, Starting anytime, we are looking at pop-up storms in our area um, that will possibly be from the Springfield area to the east. We've lost Teresa, by the way. She had to run, and I'm glad she was able to join us for the time that she did. Um, these pop-up storms have the potential to go severe as the atmosphere is ripe for severe weather today. We're looking
God,
we are looking at a line of storms to move in from the northwest, um, starting at around the 6 o'clock area into our or 6 o'clock time period into our area. That will progress till about midnight to exit our watch warn area. Um, Thank you for the feedback, Mr. Steve. Our technical support is telling us we're streaming good now, so hopefully y'all are getting this. Storm Prediction Center has changed, modified a bit day one convective outlook um, to kick the moderate risk a bit closer to our area. Um, but we are still all of our watch warn area is in an enhanced risk, which means that we're going to go back to their beautiful graphic. Turn my mic on. Testing, testing, testing.
right here on board.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Thank you for the technical support.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that. So they have a great graph on here. Um, it was there a little bit ago. They've taken it down. Put never mind. Here we go. Um, the enhanced risk means more persistent or widespread storms, and a few of these might be intense. Um, so that's why we are live today to bring awareness to this, and hopefully you have your safety plan, your safe place to go. Storm shelters will be opening in the area. They will be COVID friendly. Uh, they're encouraging people to wear their masks, to take their hand sanitizers. Um, they may not be able to honor the 6 foot rule. So just bear that in mind. But your life is more important at this point. If you need to seek a shelter and you get enough warning advance to get to that shelter safely, please take advantage of those storm shelters today. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. If not, a lot of people are home that aren't normally home at on during a week that might be out working. Please evaluate your home. Where is the safe place? Do you need to get folks in a bathroom? Do you have an inside area away from doors and windows? Do you have a closet that you could get into that you could prepare? And now is the time to do that. Don't wait till the warnings start going off. Um, if you don't have your go bags prepared, you might quickly throw together any medications and things that you want to keep with you, identifying information, that kind of thing, uh, so that you can be safe. And on that light, Franklin, can you think of something else that people might do as a last minute prepare?
Well, I've got kind of a graphic that the Weather Service had put on their Facebook page earlier today. If you don't mind me sharing that here real quick, and that might kind of help people here kind of get more of a visual ideal. And I should be sharing it right now.
Yes, you are.
So just kind of some tornado sheltering guidelines. If there is a warning announced for your area, definitely would be a good ideal. And like Patty said, you don't want to wait until the warning's actually issued. You want to think about these now, and then that way when a warning is issued, you can immediately put this into practice. So kind of your worst options are going to be if you're in a mobile home, a vehicle, or underneath a highway overpass. Now, I know years ago when I was a little kid, you always heard if you're out driving, the best possible place that you can do is get underneath an overpass that's going to provide you protection and shelter. That's not the case anymore. I've heard of issuances where, wind can come underneath those things and just blow you around. If the highway and the bridge is damaged, that overpass could potentially fall and hurt you or trap you. So definitely what would be the best option in those situations is if you could get out in a flat area, lowest place possible. Often a ditch is recommended. That way you kind of have a little bit of somewhat of some protection around you on the sides. Definitely put your hands over the back of your head and your neck if you have nothing else that you can use to protect that area of your body. A little bit better, but still bad options would be manufactured housing, just from the simple fact that they are put together in pieces. It's not like a traditional construction where it's all built kind of as one piece. They tend to get damaged a little bit easier. If you're in large open rooms like a gymnasium, an auditorium, say you're in a large store like a warehouse type store like say Sam's or a big Walmart where you have a lot of open space and you've got a lot of columns supporting the roof, that's not going to take a whole lot to bring that down. Particularly in situations like that, you either want to get to, if you can, a more secure place or some kind of a smaller interior room that's not got that big, large roof over it. Good options, interior room of a well-constructed home or building, always a basement. Your best options are either above or below ground tornado storm shelters. And specifically designed FEMA safe rooms. Those are going to be your best option if you have those available. If not, some kind of a centralized room, lowest floor of the building, something that doesn't have windows, definitely not on an outside wall. If you've got something that you can take shelter in, say like a big sturdy bathtub, that definitely helps. If you've got something that you can kind of put over yourself, like pillows, blankets, maybe a mattress if you have time for that. But something more that you can maybe grab in a moment's notice, like pillows, blankets, that would be great. Certainly, it may seem like to some people this may be going overboard. But if you've got some kind of a helmet you can put over your head, that definitely would help. If you've got some kind of safety glasses or something like that that you can put over your eyes, that will help. People may not think about it, but if you've got time, if you can throw a pair of shoes on, if you do have damage and you have debris around, you definitely don't want to be stepping on that in just socks or bare feet. So if you can put a substantial, sturdy pair of shoes on, that will just further help to protect you. And I know that sounds like I was rambling and throwing a lot of information out there, and I'm sure there's a lot that I have not thought about and overlooked. But as much of this as you can prepare ahead of time so that you don't have to think about it when it's happening, you can just put your plan into action, react to the situation, not having to try to figure it out whenever you're stressed and you really don't have the time to figure it out.
Very good points. And back up to the highway overpasses, those also become wind tunnels.
Yeah.
And if a tornado is coming at you throwing debris, that the wind in those is going to be exponentially higher than not, and so that debris can kill people. Um,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, it is definitely not a safe place to be, in spite of the video that came out in 1991. I actually lived in Wichita where that was filmed, and those people did that, and they were very lucky because that took a direct hit. Um, and not all overpasses are constructed the same.
No.
So that's something to bear in mind too. Um, yes, those people were extremely lucky, but I would not trust an overpass. The other thing to think about today is ping pong to golf ball size hail or larger.
Mhm.
Um, that can kill people. You're
Oh,
talking
yes,
about a
definitely.
2-inch ice ball hitting you in the head at 90 mile an hour. Think about a softball player or a baseball pitcher standing on the mound throwing a ball at your head. It can break bones. It can cause concussions. Um, Not a
Oh,
good
yeah.
scenario to be out in.
Definitely, that's kind of why we're talking about a sport. We're talking about entertainment, recreation, but that's why they take it so seriously whenever people get hit by baseballs, because that has a certain amount of force behind it, and you get hit in the right spot with a 80, 90 plus mile per hour fastball, you can send someone to the hospital, or you can kill someone if you hit them just right in the right spot. So translate that to a denser object, like you said, a softball, golf ball, baseball size chunk of ice. That's going to do even more damage than what a baseball would do.
I have some distressing news. We were going to rely heavily on Kansas City for our radar today. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if you can see my screen.
Um, Not right this second. I just
Evidently,
stopped sharing mine,
yeah,
so you'll probably need to share yours again.
evidently, Kansas City went down at 12:36,
Mm, okay.
and ours has not been operational since early this morning. They are working to fix ours.
Yes.
But I was just checking to see where the storms were in relation to us at the moment, and this was the 1258 scan. Storms have started to fire from well up in about the Iowa line, probably on up into Iowa, all the way down to the southwest of Chinook, Kansas at that time. And then we lost radar.
Mm,
So we have Tulsa, which is
mm-hmm.
another good option. Um, if you're needing something, yeah, our stream stopped at 6:54. They are working on it. Fort Smith is another good one, um,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't necessarily pull up on this radar. Um, Tulsa, this gives you at least for our southern counties, and we might be looking at actually St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see what we get here. St. Louis
And
would pick up
also,
another portion of our counties. So
yeah, and also part of the area that would also have been covered by Kansas City can also be picked up by, I can't remember if you mentioned it or not, Topeka. And then,
right,
of course, Wichita also kind of covers a little bit,
a little
maybe a little
bit.
bit further south than Topeka would.
Yeah, Topeka's not bad for our western counties and
Yeah.
down into southeast Kansas. So that is another option. That's a good point. Um, so hopefully, and Kansas City's kind of in a bind because they've got the weather moving in. I hope they can get into their radar and fix it.
Yes, because there's currently some stuff up around St. Joseph, and there's kind of that line starting to kind of come down.
Yeah, they don't have. It doesn't look like there's anything severe yet,
Not
uh,
at this time.
but these storms are intensifying as they're progressing to the east. So it will fire off very shortly. We'll start to see those warnings. So
Yeah.
um, I can't think of anything else other than be very weather aware today. Have multiple
Oh, yeah.
means of obtaining uh, your weather information, and you can see me scrolling through screens here to see what's currently happening. There are no mesoscale discussions going on at the moment for our area.
Hmm.
Although we do anticipate, no doubt, that there will be watches in effect this afternoon.
Oh,
And
probably, definitely.
watch means that the threat is there. Franklin was saying earlier, I think about the time we lost the stream, pardon me. A watch means the cupcake batter is made, okay,
Hmm.
and a warning means the cupcakes are ready to eat. And I love that analogy because people can kind of grab onto the fact that the cupcakes aren't quite ready, but all the ingredients are there, and the warning meaning there's imminent danger or imminent goodies um, coming our way. So be prepared, and we will keep you informed uh, on the repeaters. We've already got a net control standing by on the 14549. He That would be Lewis. Will have us for the afternoon. Franklin has Greene County guys on standby, and if you're interested in a live play-by-play, there is a YouTube channel called Jungle Chasers, and all of these guys, with the exception of their technical support, are not only Greene County net controls, but they are also regional net controls, and they will be giving a play-by-play uh, for the regional weather. So Franklin being one of those, and then Rodney and who else have you got in there?
There's me, Rodney, Steve. We had Kate on last night for the first time. We're planning on maybe having a few other people in and out as they're available, kind of as guests and stuff. We've had you on before, so I think we've got a pretty good core group, and we're just kind of going at it from the standpoint of doing it like a skywarn net. There are definitely on YouTube, there are videos available, but they tend to be pre-recorded, edited audio recordings. Sometimes you may have a spotter who's out in the field that has video, but it's basically of him sitting in his truck listening to the net on his radio, or a net control who's got the camera pointing at the radio and the computer screen, and that's pretty much about it. So we're hoping that this is kind of different. It kind of catches people's attentions and interest, and we can roll with it from there.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Um, there are people that I'm getting questions here about how do I get the chat information. So that is kind of tightly guarded
Yes.
because there are many weather partners that are uh, in the chat. We have MoDOT, we have Office of Emergency Management, we have Fire, we have Law Enforcement, we have Skywarn Net Controls. And for the amateur radio side, and I'm going to include Zello there, a net
Hmm.
control with experience. Um, we don't just let anybody in or first time people in to the chat, but you can get your information on IEM Bot, or if you sign up for INWS, you can set that to cover a region or particular counties and get that to your phone. So those are great ways to get your information, and it's coming out at the same time it's coming in chat. So you just
Yeah.
don't get the chatter that we have between each other or the uh, live reports that are being turned in. That would be what you're not seeing.
Yeah. But also sometimes with those live reports, whenever they do repeat them, they have a bot in the chat that kind of automates a little bit of some of that process. So you may not get those storm reports just the second that they're turned in, but like maybe within 5 to 10 minutes, whenever the bot reposts those, that goes to IM bot, I know for certain.
Oh,
So
certainly.
you get those a little bit later than when they come in. Now, on some of the other services, I'm not for sure if they get repeated to that, but they may as well.
I want to say welcome to our technical support. Storm Spotter has been net control. Steve,
Mm-hmm.
KA0SPM. You won't hear him on the radio much except on the wellness nets here lately, but you will hear him out as a spotter often. Um, I don't know how many times he's come in the door and go, "Where you need me?" Um, he probably possesses as much knowledge of this stuff as I do because he's always reading and always asking questions. So, um,
Nope, I'm the radio guy and
but
the computer guy apparently.
yeah, you're
and,
you're the geeky
and
guy.
he is also our repeater trustee, so he's the one that keeps both of our repeaters on the air for us. So we appreciate that as well.
Yes, he is. He's the one that's keeping the six
I
four from
I
having all the
try it.
hiccups.
I gotta say sometimes it's kind of like playing whack a mole.
All right, so I need to make a quick look here at our live feed because I haven't been looking, and I don't see
And got a
with
black screen sharing.
this.
Yeah.
I'm black screened again.
Oh yeah.
Well, it says we've got a viewer. I can't see chat with this new program. It doesn't. Ah, yes, I can. Okay. Um, Jeffrey found us, and
Oh, cool.
I'm showing live.
Oh, you're.
Yeah, I think you're live. It's just for whatever reason, it's not showing your screen. And I'm showing on my end that you're sharing your screen. It's just I'm getting black.
Yep.
Oh, my screen. Um, yeah, I was gonna go in and change my perspective here. Um,
Oh, cool.
Well,
I'm
now
not gonna
on the
share.
live stream you got us. You don't. You're
Yeah,
not.
I think you're live. It's just for whatever reason, it's not showing.
I'm seeing us. I'm not seeing your screen. So
Okay,
Gotcha.
I should be there now. I was checking YouTube to make sure that we were there. Um, because we've lost it a couple of times already, and I wanted to make sure we were still going. So
Gotcha.
OBS is being funny today. Anyway, um, this has been I appreciate Steve's help keeping us going, getting us going 3 times. And since I'm not seeing any questions here, it might be because we did lose the feed a couple of times. I think I've said all I need to know. Just be weather aware today. Any other
All right.
comments, gentlemen?
I don't think so. I think that sums it up. Be weather aware. Um, Keep listening, keep monitoring, particularly if it looks like it's getting stormy out. Turn the TV on, turn the radio on. Make sure you have your weather radio set. Um, Take a look at a weather app. Just be cognizant of what is coming your way. Um, you know, not to get political or anything, but there was a weather event that happened within the last couple of years that everyone in Southwest Missouri is aware of, and probably a lot of people have heard around the country. Um, just make sure you know what's coming, what might be coming to your area, what may potentially affect you, and make plans for that. I mean, great if nothing happens, awesome, but don't be caught unaware. Don't be in a situation where you have 2 minutes to make drastic, potentially life or death decisions. Decide that ahead of time, what you're going to do. Might have to adapt a little bit in that moment, but adapting that plan is a lot better and quicker and easier than coming up with the plan from scratch. So just be prepared ahead of time.
Okay, I was trying to share a screen here, and it's evidently not working in Skype. Um, so I'll just stop um, and come back live. How to report. That's something we had not covered on the weather.gov/SGF. There is a
Mhm.
link at the bottom of the page that says submit report. That goes to them immediately. They are on Facebook, www.facebook.com/NWS Springfield. They
Mhm.
are on Twitter at NWS Springfield. If they love to see pictures, Twitter and Facebook are a great way to do that, or you can do that through email contact.sgf@noaa.gov and sending reports from your mobile phone. There's an app called MPing that sends not only your report but your location, so they get an exact location of what you're reporting. That's a great go-to app to keep on your phone.
Yeah, and that is a good thing to keep in mind, because I mean you can always try to give as best a detailed description of where you're at, but with that imping app, it gives them your exact location. So you don't have to worry about trying to figure out, well, am I half a mile from this location? Am I 500 feet? It just kind of it takes that into account, and that pretty much that hits the National Weather Service server, and then it gets doled out to the closest office within minutes, if not seconds. So it's nearly instantaneous. They have it out of the office.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's an excellent tool. The submit report is going to ask for some specific details. And as are we as net controls, we're going to ask you, what is your name? What is your call sign? What is your location? And I don't just want somebody to say El Dorado. I want somebody to say, I am sitting at the intersection of 39 and 32, or uh, I am 1/2 mile east of CC on whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
and I'm looking in this direction at what I'm reporting, or we just had this damage here, or Damage reports, any size hail, those are excellent things to turn into your net control.
Yeah, I always ask for an approximate location, and if they just tell me, I'm like, on Highway 60, I fall back on my time whenever my family owned a towing company here in town, and I was getting information on where someone was. I always ask, "What's your closest cross street?" They just, I'm on the south side of Springfield on Highway 60. Okay, if you don't know approximately how far you are from an exit, what's the closest exit? Or if you're on Glenstone, what's the next closest cross street?
Or have you got a business along Glenstone that you
True.
can cite,
Yeah.
as that we can get an idea or look up very quickly.
Yeah.
Better if you kind of know, but I'm on North Glenstone and I'm by the McDonald's near Kearney. That's
Yeah.
probably a close
That's
enough
not bad.
report. Yeah, that's not bad. We can turn that in uh, that way, and National Weather's going to know where that's at.
Yeah.
So um, that's all I have. I'm sitting here having an interesting chat in the meantime with a gentleman who's wanting so badly to join us as a net control, and the lack of testing right now is really holding him up. But he has offered to help us with Zello. So I think that'll be a good foot in the door. On Zello, and I brought it up, but I hadn't mentioned it specifically. It's Southwest Missouri Skywarn. On Zello, you will have to be added. So if you put a call sign or a name that we can look up and reference is best. I know a lot of people want to put fun handles in there, but if we don't recognize it, you might not get added.
Yeah.
So try to log in or set up your account as a call sign or your name so we can find you. And with that, oh, I don't know if you just heard my text message, but I think that's a little too true for today.
I
So,
did.
um, anyway, that's all I have, unless Franklin's got something else that he's wanting to.
No, I think I am good. We've pretty much covered everything, and I think we've really set up a realistic expectation. And just I would caution people: it's not an exact science. It's not 1 + 1 = 2, 2 + 2 = 4. With the weather, sometimes 4 + 4 = 6. It's really different than a lot of the other sciences, and just keep in mind, just because you're not having severe thunderstorms or a tornado in your specific location doesn't mean someone 20 miles down the road's not exhibiting the full brunt of it all. So
Right, and understand
just keep that in mind.
we're a regional
Yes.
reporter, and so we may be reading storms for Leclerc County, and somebody in Wright County's gone, well, I've just got sunshine.
It's sunny out.
Yeah,
What's going on?
we when you hear the tones on the repeater, when the watches come out, um, that means emergency traffic only. We want
Yes.
reports. It's okay to check in, but when you check in, let the net control know your exact location. Um, it we also want to know if you move.
Hmm.
If you're checking in to let us know that you're spotting, we're responsible for you, and
We are.
we want to know if you move.
Yeah,
Um,
and unless you are going to be doing other stuff and you just want to check out early, I will, kind of something I learned from you, I will periodically holler for you until you tell me either you're checking out or you've made it back home. Because if I don't hear anything from you and an hour's gone by, I may be calling law enforcement to come find you.
Especially if a storm has rolled through there.
Yes, yes. Particularly if a suspected tornado has went through half a mile from your area, and I've not heard from you for 30, 45 minutes, I'm going to get a little concerned.
So, guys, one thing that, just to give you an idea of the breadth of our CWA, and trust me, we don't have the largest one. There's some much bigger out there. But we're roughly about 220, 230 miles from the northwest corner to the southeast corner. And our storms tend to move that way anyway because of prevailing factors. So, yes, you could be hearing a warning that's coming out in the, let's say, somewhere near Fort Scott to start with, and it could end somewhere down near Alton in Oregon County. This is all the area that our weather service covers. Like I said, certainly not the biggest one, but it's a large area. So, yes, you could have snow on one end and a thunderstorm on the other pretty easily.
Yeah, and I am currently sharing, if it's going out on the live stream, an actual map of all 37 counties that Southwest Missouri Regional Skywarn is responsible for, the same counties that this National Weather Service office in Springfield has in their watch area. So every county that you see on this map, that's name is in bold print. Those are the counties that we watch. That includes 3 counties in southeast Kansas as well. So it's, as Steve said, not the largest, but it is a large area to cover. And whenever you have a system going through that's prompting a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, flash flood warnings, it can get pretty quickly to the point where you're reading a warning after warning after warning.
And in that, I want to challenge my net controls not to read every word. Read those things that are important. We have a severe thunderstorm warning. It is for these counties. These cities are in the path. The dangers are blah, blah, blah. And leave it at that. Don't read the text verbatim. Try to get the important information out there. If you're looking at radar and you have an area of concern and you're not seeing reports out of there, ask for it. I am watching a storm in Cedar County. I'm anticipating this to be in the Stockton area very shortly. Do I have any spotters in that area that can give me a report on the ground truth?
Yeah.
And take a breath. Give the spotters a chance to check in.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
it can get busy and we forget that we're not just broadcasters, that we are here to disseminate information as well.
And you know, there may be someone on the repeater waiting. You may have, you know, just read, you know, like your 6th warning in like 5 minutes, but someone may be waiting to turn in. They see a funnel cloud, or they see a wall cloud, or they actually have a touchdown on the ground and it's moving towards the high school. But, you know, like you said, if you don't pause, take a few seconds, a minute to see if someone else has something to say to make a report, they may not be able to get on there to give that report until that tornado has hit the high school.
Exactly.
I got another fun fact for you. You see at the top where it says Morgan, and the town that everybody would call Versailles is Versailles.
Yes.
From Versailles to the state line in Taney County, that's roughly 130 miles. And that's a pretty fair amount of driving if you ever did that. If you took 65 out of Benton County all the way to Taney County where it crosses into Arkansas, it takes a good amount of time to do this. So it's a big area. It's a lot to cover, and that's why we do this, because ground truth. And here I've heard issues with radar, both in Springfield and Kansas City. So people at home who are spotting, who are not supposed to go out because of the current situation,
Keep talking,
you're
gentlemen. I'll be
very
back.
valuable at your house.
Okay.
Very valuable.
Yeah, and even during normal situations, whenever situations like coronavirus aren't an issue, um, we never want a spotter to go out and spot if they feel uncomfortable with it or they have a more pressing concern. They need to secure the safety of their family, their residents, and so on. Um, we always understand that comes first. Um, then there may be issues of, okay, is this storm taking place during the middle of the day? Is it the middle of the night? Do you have lighting in your area where you plan to spot, where you can see the structure of the storm and really see what's going on with it as it's coming through? Or are you out in the middle of rural Lawrence County where it's pitch black and all you would have is moonlight, starlight, or maybe lightning to see what's actually going on with this storm? Do you know that area very well so that you know all the potential ways to get out of that area if one's cut off? And you know where that area is so that you can find it without really being able to see it very well. If you can't emphatically say yes to most, if not all of those, I would rather you stay at home and spot from home than take a situation where you could potentially put yourself in harm's way. And I mean, spotting from home is it's fine. You heard earlier, Teresa said she has a lot of people that spot from home, and that's perfectly fine. Um, you can still give observations about what's the storm is doing as it passes by your location. Did you get hail? Did you have heavy torrential rain or high winds as it passed through? That's just as beneficial. You may not be able to position yourself to be exactly at the location that we're seeing on radar. That's the most concern, but that information still goes to help the National Weather Service to say, okay, this is what happened as this went through. This is what we observed on the radar. This is what matches up. This is what doesn't quite match up. Figure out, okay, was there an actual discrepancy between what we saw and what was observed? And if there was, how can we apply that to make the situation better next time so that there's not that discrepancy and they can get a little bit better with the forecasting? They can get a little bit better with the radar. And, hopefully we can get these warnings and everything out further ahead of time to give people more lead time to take shelter and hopefully fewer people get hurt.
By the way, Kansas City radar is back up.
Awesome.
I did a check. A new hazardous weather outlook has come out,
Oh, okay.
and our weather hazards we are expecting elevated now tornado risk. They've
Mm,
increased that elevated hail risk, significant thunderstorm wind damage risk, limited flooding risk, and significant lightning risk. So they've kind of listed these in the order of concern. So
mhm.
elevated is always the higher concern. So our tornado risk, our hail risk,
Hail.
followed by significant thunderstorm wind damage risk and lightning risk. And then with these storms, there will be torrential rain. They are still looking for hail to the size of golf balls.
Mm,
Um,
Ooh, ooh.
and winds to 70 miles per hour. The heavy downpours could lead to localized flooding. We are pretty soupy. We've been having rain about every other day.
yes.
So they are calling for spotter activation, potentially being needed later today. So, one more thing I wanted to check before we go. They do have on the National Weather Service page for Springfield um, a graphic, and they talked about this earlier in the products. They have experimental graphic hazardous weather outlook, and
Mhm.
in that, it shows spotter outlook. And if you click on that, there, what it says is yes, they will be needed. They used to have timing on this. They're saying this is valid 1 p.m. today until 7 a.m. tomorrow.
Mhm.
They used to narrow it down more, and if it turned red, it was in within the next 3 hours. But they've changed that, so they are expecting
Got a
to need
little
us.
weather guy trivia. Well, not trivia, but insider information. They launched a balloon this morning at 1200 Zulu, and they're launching another one, uh, which is on now.
They
Mhm.
just now listed it, and we're looking at MU Cape of 40.
Ooh,
Oh my,
that's off the
4442.
scale.
Oh gosh.
We're looking at a lift index of -12, which means that the parcel is honking to get up there. We're looking at sin. They were talking about helicity earlier of
Got a
negative
bit of a.
100.
This doesn't include the storm slinky, but it's kind of curvy, if you want to know my opinion. Uh, we do have a pretty good cap at 6 kilometers, which could inhibit really huge development. But
Mhm.
I think we got enough twist. We definitely got the energy and the lift. Yeah, that's pretty scary. And it that was 6 hours ago. They had 29 or 2598 as a MU Cape. So this is going off the scale with the sunlight.
It's
Yeah, it is.
almost doubled.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's doubled, and that's what they were talking about earlier, that it will. So yeah, that parcel was a little bit inhibited, but then just rocketed right on up. Um,
I'm thinking that it might be shorts weather for a little bit at least.
potentially, potentially.
Because I'm
Steve,
showing 73 on my rather inaccurate rate or weather app on the computer. So
Steve, you're talking to a person who thinks that low 40s is still shorts weather.
I know.
I've never seen you out of shorts, Franklin. Um,
It's not very often. I don't wear long pants a lot. Every once in a while I do. I wish Mom had found me, if I can sidestep for a second. Mom found me these two pairs of really, really thin, lightweight. It's almost like a jersey type material. It's really thin, lightweight, long pants at Kmart a few months before they went out. I can a lot of times wear them whenever it's a little bit warmer, where I would normally almost certainly have to wear shorts, and I don't get too hot. I wish we bought like at least 5 or 6 pairs of them. I've got two. I've got one that's a light gray, and I've got a pair that's kind of like a dark navy, and I just love them.
awesome. By the way, gentlemen, the link they sent took us to the Norman site,
Mm-hmm.
and I just clicked on the SGF site for the SKUT. Our MU Cape right now is 3020. There is no convective
Still good.
inhibition. The partial went straight up. The lift index is -6, and yeah, it's still saying supercell insignificant hail. So our model is quite a bit different here. Um, and that comes all the way down. Yeah, things will start firing off here before very long at all. There is a new
Yeah.
mesoscale discussion. Let's see what that has to say.
Oh,
Southeast
okay.
Kansas, eastern Oklahoma, southwest Missouri, northwest Arkansas. Severe potential, watch likely. This just came out 2 minutes ago. Storms will fire by 2100 Zulu, which would be 2 o'clock.
21 would
3
be
o'clock.
what? 7. So
Everything's
I think 2.
no.
Would it be 3?
3 by 4.
4. Okay.
Because right now 7 o'clock is Zulu. So by
Okay.
4 o'clock, along and ahead of a cold front, quickly becoming severe, damaging hail, wind, and a few tornadoes possible. So, boom, there you have it. We have a mesoscale discussion and watch likely.
One of our very own.
Hey.
Sweet.
Everybody's been waiting for this.
It's always good to be loved.
Isn't it, though?
Well, I'm going to call this time for lunch. I'm getting out, so
I've been trying
I'll
to
let
nibble
you guys.
without smacking in the mic, and I need food too. I got to go to work here before too long. So, thanks,
Yep.
gentlemen. Appreciate it, and appreciate
Oh,
the
no
technical
problem.
support. And everybody be weather safe and weather aware today.
Yes,
73.
73.
73.